Hi, I'm Lisa Thomas from To Ride the World and FIT4ADV. Now in my last video, Workout 1, I shared with you one of my favourite sequences for warming up and getting back into exercise. Today's video is all about flexibility. Now focusing on flexibility needs to be an important part of any wellness program. Now today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favourite stretches to help make sure that you remain flexible, supple and injury free. Now I'm not going to be doing this on my own. I have my good friend Michelle here and she's going to help me illustrate some of these stretches. So to give you an idea as to what we're going to focus on today, we're going to start with a chest stretch, a tricep stretch, a rear shoulder stretch, upper and lower back stretch and a front shoulder stretch before we then go on to the lower body. For the lower body, I'm going to share with you a sequence of stretches focusing on the thighs, hamstrings and calves. So let's get started. Okay, so to start with, we're going to find something so you can put your arm up against it at shoulder height and then just slightly turn your body away from your arm so that you begin to feel the stretch here just in your upper chest. Hold that for around a 10 count, slow count. And then change to the other side. So turn your body away slightly, feel the stretch, slow count to 10 and relax. Now the next stretch in the sequence is a tricep stretch. Now before you start this, it's important to make sure that you keep your core nice and tight, your knees are soft and you don't arch your back. You just solely want to concentrate on the tricep. So to start with, we reach up into the air with one arm and then we drop that hand behind the head whilst using the other hand to slowly pull in, feeling the stretch just here in the tricep. Hold that for a slow count of about 10 before you relax and repeat on the other side. So stretching up, dropping the hand behind the head, pulling the elbow in, feeling the stretch in the other tricep, but also make sure you keep your head nice and relaxed. We don't want you leaning over or twisting when you're doing this. So the next stretch I'm going to show you in the sequence is going to concentrate on the rear delt. Now the rear of the shoulder can actually carry an awful lot of tension for the majority of us, so this is a very important stretch to do. So holding your arm straight out in front of you, cross the arm across your chest and hold with your opposite arm above the elbow whilst pulling that arm across. Now when you're doing this, make sure you do actually drop your shoulder, which will make sure the stretch concentrates in this area here. Hold that for a nice slow count of 10 before repeating on the opposite side. So arm across, hold above the elbow, pull that arm across and drop this shoulder down for a slow count of 10. So with the rear shoulder stretch completed, we're going to move on to the upper and lower back. Now again, with this exercise, it's important you don't lock your knees out. You have your knees just slightly softened. And this time you do actually want to round your back slightly. So moving into the position, you push the hands out and away from you whilst curling your upper back, dropping your head and rounding your lower back slightly. And you're really pushing away with those hands so that you feel the stretch here between the shoulder blades and also in the lower back. Hold that for a nice count, slow count of 10, constantly pushing away with the hands throughout the entire movement. And then relax, slowly roll up, stretch the shoulders back and move on to the next one. Now for the final one, for the upper body, we're going to concentrate on the front of the shoulder. Again, making sure your stance is nice and soft, your knees are slightly bent, and this time you clasp your hands behind you and just push your hands up and away from you, making sure again your shoulders are nicely relaxed and keep that stretch. Slow count of 10, you should be feeling the stretch just here in your upper shoulders. And then relax. Round the shoulders out. And you're done. Okay, now we're moving on to the lower body, and this stretch is going to concentrate on the inner thigh and hamstring. Now it's important to remember you have a nice wide stance here to start with, and you have your knees soft. You don't want to lock out your knees, so they remain soft throughout the whole movement, and your tummy must remain tight throughout the whole movement. So placing your hands on your thighs, you're going to just bend forwards, keeping your head up, keeping your back nice and flat, and pushing your back side up. Really concentrate, you're pushing it up towards the sky or the ceiling. Tummy's nice and tight, and you can hold this stretch using your hands on your sides. Now if your flexibility allows, you can place your hands on the floor, keeping the same stretch, so head up, back nice and flat, and pushing your back side upwards. Straightening out this one leg, we're going to bend the other knee, and the stretch will go onto the inner thigh. Make sure you keep your knee over your foot, and that you don't lift your heel and your knee go way over your toes. That's what you don't want. Holding that stretch. So after feeling the stretch here on the inner thigh, I'm going to stretch that leg back out again, and now turn the body so that the chest is on the thigh. And this will take the stretch onto the outside of the leg. So if your flexibility allows, you can keep your hands on the floor whilst you turn both feet facing the same direction. If not, you can have your hands on your thighs. Tummy in nice and tight. We're pushing out that back heel with that stretched leg. So we're feeling the stretch in the calf. Tummy in nice and tight. Taking an extra stretch outwards with that backwards foot. We're going to drop that knee slowly to the floor and just hold it just so that it's just off the floor. Either with your hands down like Michelle has got, or your hands on your knee. Important to hold your tummy in. This is stretching out your hip flexors. They can get very, very tight. Relaxing back, coming to the center. We're now going to repeat the whole thing on the other side. So returning to the center, you can have your hands on your thighs, or flexibility allows on the floor. We're bending the opposite knee and straightening out the other leg. Feel the stretch in the other side. Tummy in nice and tight, hold that stretch. Straighten that bent leg and take the chest onto the thigh to feel the stretch move to the outside of the leg. Yeah, you can keep your hands on the floor, or you can place your hands up on your thigh and turn both feet, toes facing in the same direction. Stretch that leg out at the back, push that heel down to the floor so you get a nice calf stretch. Chest up if your hands are on your thigh, and tummy in nice and tight. Take the extra step out and then slowly drop that knee to the floor and hold that stretch. Chest up, or if you're more flexible, hands on the floor as Michelle is doing. Tummy in nice and tight, hold that stretch. Hip flexors are being stretched here. Slowly straighten the front leg, turn to the center, and take the stretch down again to the center. Now we're slowly going to walk the feet in. Again, keeping your tummy in, your backside up. So moving your feet in just about hip distance apart. Or if you have a slight problem with this, you can have your feet just slightly wider, as Michelle has here. You're then just going to drop your backside to the floor, have your hands out as a counterbalance, and make sure your heels remain on the floor, and hold that stretch. Chest up. Make sure your knees try to remain in a straight line forwards. Drop the hands down and curl the back. Now we're slowly going to roll up, leaving the hands and the head last, nice and slowly, all the way up until you're in a standing position. Hands on the hips, and just to release your lower back, Knees nice and soft. We're just going to push the shoulders back slightly and come to a standing position. So we've just come to the end of my first stretch sequence, and I don't know about you, but I feel like I've done something and I got a bit of a sweat on. My mother would say a glow. So if you've got 5 to 10 minutes every day or every other day and you can do my sequence, this is going to really improve your flexibility all round. I'm Lisa Thomas. Thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to the next session.